I hate action RPGs. I tried Devil May Cry 5 and I didn't like it. I tried the Final Fantasy VII remake and I didn't like it. I just can't wrap my head around these games. So when my friend Z messaged me asking to play an action JRPG co-op game, I was a bit skeptical. I accepted it because it would just be something fun to do, something to collab on. Boy, I was wrong. I'll be covering the first few hours of the game, and then later on I'll go on to the end game stuff. I've marked chapters in the video if you want to avoid the spoilers. You are Lloyd, a single-minded person with a heart of gold. He has dreams of being a hero and bringing justice to the world. You know this because you first see him sleeping in class. You meet your companions in this class as well. Colette, a klutz, she made this hole in the wall. Genus, a younger genius wizard. You get the joke? Because he's a... okay. And Professor Vane, a teacher for the class. You are interrupted by this man dying, and then Colette being told that she is the chosen, and she must complete a very specific task. Now, I have to say, the game isn't afraid to throw words at you. It will hit you with terms that are not normal to our usual life. Terms like human ranch and chosen, as well as some folklore about civilizations on the moon. The world really intrigues you from the start and really brings you in. I personally wanted to know more about this moon town that they keep referencing. And throughout the game gives you more world building and lore and folklore. It's just a very interesting place. It doesn't dump too much on you through the story, so if you really don't care about that stuff, you can skip it. But it also gives you so many opportunities to learn that I really recommend you do, because it's so interesting. It's great. I love it. One of the main problems with modern games for me is that they can be a bit too complicated. In some ARPGs you have to take in so many effects going on that it's a bit hard to keep track. Tales of Symphonia is a 20-year-old game, but that's what makes it good. It's not overcomplicated, but it still has a really good combat system. This is going to sound weird, but if you played Super Smash Bros before, the controls will feel super familiar to you, which is probably why I picked it up so quickly, but hey. You have your standard attack, and if you input a direction, you can change what your attack does. Same with your magic skills, you have a neutral attack and you have one for each different direction. Each skill does a different thing. There's some that throw your opponents into the sky, there's some that makes them fall over, there's some that makes them knock back and stunned, and there's some that just doesn't do much. Because of the freedom you have with your character, you can combo these however you want. I had an awful lot of fun figuring out what move can go after what move. I love trying a different combo and using follow-ups to try and finish the combo with optimal damage. It's very rewarding. Sadly, the overworld gameplay isn't as good. Playing it in co-op can be a bit sucky when it comes to this. Whoever's not player one, you just sits there and watches the other person walk around, and it can be a long time. I think we had a couple game sessions where I only picked up the controller once or twice. The overworld map just feels a bit weird too. It has some stones you can unlock fast travel with, but you'll find out later on they become obsolete very quickly. The game is also not very clear on where you should go next. Luckily Z knows the game and can remember where to go, but if I was by myself, I know I would have got lost. Finally, the mini games. Oh gosh. The mini games aren't great to begin with, but you'd think for a co-op game, you could do co-op mini games. No! Not one game can be played in co-op, and that's a massive oversight. You could have challenged your friends to the game or helped them compete. It would be like Mario Party. It would have been good. I don't know how the developers missed this, even back then. Now here are some things I want to cover before going into the story part of the game. The amount of unique interactions in this game is amazing. Approaching an NPC with a different character can give you multiple interactions. I think it's pretty cool. However, that does give it a bad side too. The times where people should have a different reaction and they don't, it really hurts and really misses. Another thing, why do you have to use item to show a HP bar of the enemy? I'm sure it provides a in-universe reason why they can see that, but it's still weird to me. The voice acting is okay. Colette's voice peaks an awful lot, And I know stuff back then wasn't as good, but it's still great. Okay, now on to the good bit. These are bundled together because you cannot have one without the other in this game. The characters are the story. You bond with them, you adventure with them, you experience new places with them, and you can actually love and hate them too. Every character grows in this story, and you'll see each one in a different light by the end of the game. Depending on how much you want to see them grow depends on how much you interact with them, but even if you still ignore them, they'll still grow. The plot is insane. It does feel a bit cliche at times, but there were some moments that I was not expecting at all. I thoroughly got tricked a few times, and I am upset to admit that. Well, by the end of the game it did stay a bit longer than it should have. It wasn't bad enough to sour the whole experience. Okay, spoiler time. Here's your warning. I'm going to be spoiling the major points of the game. Here's my tier list of characters. Colette is bottom of the barrel, probably the only one who doesn't really grow much. At the start I actually liked her, and then when I told a friend I was playing this game they said, "You'll hate Colette by the end." I gotta say, I agree. She's the damsel in distress. She always gets herself in trouble and doesn't really help herself. She didn't really have any real issues either, especially with her whole dying thing. I don't know, I think that's weird. Lloyd is the second worst. He's too kind to a fault, and the fault can get super annoying. The final twist where Zelos betrays you, he goes on about them being friends. I kind of felt that was a bit too unrealistic. Accept it, dude, he's selfish. Kill him. Genus is okay. He's a bit simple-minded and struggles with feelings and why people treat him differently, but he is just a kid. I just can't relate to him. Next up, Sheena. She felt like a main character for most of the second arc, kinda like they forgot about Lloyd. It just felt weird she had the spotlight for such a big portion of the game. Regal's just a big dummy. I like him, but gosh, he's hard on himself. I don't think he ever really truly forgives himself, but I kinda wish he did. His plot heavily leans on Presaya's plot though, which is why he's in the middle. Zelos is... well, I was told we didn't see everything about him. I didn't like him at the start. Perfect character, thinks highly of himself. He's just a bit of an asshole. He did grow on me a little bit to the end of the game, but I felt like his betrayal was unnecessary, both story-wise and character-wise. It was also executed really poorly too. Not sus at all, Mr. Red Hair Man. Talking of red hair men betraying you, Kratos was my least favourite character until the end of the game, where he suddenly shot up. When I learned he was Lloyd's dad, everything just kinda made sense. And then you realise he's the one who killed Lloyd's mother. And then you realise that's why he's petting Noish. And then you realise so many things! It really does make you reflect on the game. Rain is cool. And sadly, I personally think she gets the least screen time. I love her personality, yet she remains very cool and calm. Kinda like the mother of the group, but has her nerdy moments too. I think she's very charming. I just wish they gave her more playtime. And Presaya, do I need to say much? Look at her in this costume. So cute. I want to pet her. I have a famous quote here by me. We're not designed. This game fooled me very well. I was not expecting the first twist, in a way. Well, I kind of knew the game was going to be a bit longer than the 20 hours we spent, but I didn't know how it would be a twist. The second twist was good, when we realised the fact the worlds were kind of broken, although it was pointed out already by Kratos and Ewan, which made the impact a little bit less, so I kind of wish they kept it a secret so we had a uh-oh, we messed things up moment. Zelos' betrayal I felt was a bit too much. The game already felt over by then. I mean sure, character development, but just felt unneeded by then. Also, I saw Mythos being a bad guy from a mile away. No way someone with the same name that happened to be around 4,000 years ago wasn't going to be the bad guy. Tales of Symphonia is a good game. It's full of twists, turns, love, hate, and red light, green light. I'd 100% recommend playing it with a friend. It's so rare you get to play these type of games where you can actually play through with a friend at the same time. So go and cherish this game. Although I would recommend you guys take turn of who's player 1 in the overworld. It will enhance the experience more. 10 out of 10. And hey, it inspired me to get more into the Tales series, so I'm streaming Tales of Vesperia every Wednesday with Z. You should come join. Thank you all for watching.